Looks like a giant. Am I 100% sure what the issue was? No. Did I fix it? Yeah. Man, that's like 3 times I've hit my shin off that trailer hitch. I might do a little bit of videoing tomorrow when I go pick up my new vehicle. That might be in this video, not sure. I thought I was all done and ready to use my mower for the season, but last night I went to mow the lawn. It's doing this weird thing like where it's hunting for its idle. I've got it narrowed down to a couple things. I've already replaced the pulse line to the fuel pump, and I just replaced the fuel filter. I'm hoping that it's probably just a dirty main jet in the carb, so I picked up a little bit of carb cleaner from Canadian Tire. Anyway, I'm gonna go grab the mower and throw her in the garage. And we're set. Oh man, it's hot in here. It only does the idle hunt thing when it's at full throttle. So I think it's running lean, which is why I think that it's the main jet. I'm sure once this thing gets warmed up, then it'll start doing it. So this is the sound right here. There's some linkage that goes like to the engine and the carburetor, and I can see as it's hunting for its idle, this linkage is oscillating, and I'm pretty sure that's the governor. So I'm not really sure what's going on. I will get it figured out. I'm gonna get this piece of junk. Well, I'm gonna get this mower in the garage now. This thing is idle hunting. From what I read, it could be a few things. It could be something as simple as the gas vent. So maybe what I might do before I get tearing into anything is pull the gas cap off and start it up, and maybe then it's just a venting problem. So that'll be my first thing here that I'm going to test out. So that's topped up. Choke on. Okay, that didn't fix it. And I'm quite sure that was the easiest thing on the list. So now I'm probably going to start digging into the carburetor, because I've already replaced the fuel filter. I've already replaced the pulse line to the fuel pump. I can visibly see that there's fuel going to the engine. So what do you do, right? This is part of owning things and maintaining stuff by yourself. The first step here is probably going to be to take the air cleaner cover off and then pull the air cleaner out. And I'm hoping I don't have to take off the entire engine cover, but I'm not optimistic about that one. There's my air filter. It looks like the engine cover needs to come off. Awesome. All right, we got my engine cover off. It was a little bit of a convoluted maneuver to get that off. I had to remove like the top grill for the cooling fan, and then underneath there was another grill over top of it, and there's just 4 screws going into plastic, which is awesome. I love screws that go into plastic. Anyway, after pulling that cover off, looking on top of the carburetor here, it is pretty dirty. And yeah, I'll show you how gross this is. That is nasty. I don't know if that's old filter material or what that is, but if it's that dirty on the outside, God knows what it looks like on the inside. So I don't know if I should blast that off with shop air or what I should do. Either way, I'll get her cleaned up and then dig into the carburetor, I suppose. I think that's probably our culprit. I'm sure none of that junk helped. What I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to get all the junk that's stuck on every piece of linkage and everything under there. There's a lot of like dust and old grime and stuff underneath there. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but man, there's a lot of gross stuff here. Yeah, just look at all this. Don't want to get that too dirty. This is just a little snapshot of what was all inside the engine. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to blast out these with a little bit of carb clean, and maybe that might help me out a little bit here. I'm gonna throw this little gasket back on here and tighten it down, start this up for a minute and see if maybe that may have fixed my issue. Yeah, everything is just covered like in this crap all over the place. And I don't have enough carb clean to completely blast off the entire engine. That'll just be a waste of money. So I'm just blasting it with compressed air where I can and hope for the best. Maybe it was a dirty piece of linkage, who knows? But I'm fully expecting that when I try to go start this up, the problem's going to persist. I have my gasket on top of the carb there. I'm just tightening down this cover. I'm not really sure what its purpose is aside from sealing the top of the carburetor, but yeah, I'm not making these super tight because I don't want to strip the holes out, and they weren't super tight to begin with. And hopefully there's no like silly safety switch or anything that's going to prevent me from starting this up without the engine cover on top of it. But we will see in maybe about 30 seconds here. Very important thing to keep in mind when you're doing something like this is that the engine safety cover isn't on. So I'm just going to make sure that I don't have anything kicking around left on top of there that's going to get in the way, maybe get caught in and start slinging itself around. Looks like I've got everything sorted out there. Let's start her up. Well, that certainly sounds better. I'm going to take this thing for a quick test out in the yard and see if that idle hunt persists. I had this thing for a little test rip around the yard, and it's not idle hunting. It sounds great. So I guess really it just needed to be cleaned. I'm not sure if the carb cleaner that I blasted into those 4 little ports on the top of the carb there did anything. That's kind of one thing that I don't like doing, is attacking multiple problems at the same time, because then you really don't know exactly what your issue was. It could have been a culmination of issues that was giving me that idle surge. Anyway, off camera, I had this thing out in the driveway and I was blasting everything that I could get my compressed air nozzle on. I found a bolt for the exhaust heat shield that's loose. I mean, sure, it's only a loose bolt, but I could end up running over that with my mower and shooting it into a window. I've done that before, but with rocks. Just good practice, I guess, just to keep your equipment clean or give it a good inspection once in a while. This is an air-cooled engine, and it is full of organic dust. And I'm sure that there's fires that start because of that. Am I 100% sure what the issue was? No. Did I fix it? Yeah. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I probably could have brought this to the dealership and they probably would have absolutely loved to have charged me a couple $100 to do that. But I'm not really a huge fan of spending money, especially when it's something that I could just take care of here. We're due for a lot of rain coming up, and I want to make sure that this thing's good to go as soon as it dries up and I'm ready to cut the grass. I had like a panic cut that I did last night with this thing, and it performed great until I put fresh gas in it, and then it started doing that idle surge thing. So I don't know what happened there, but something happened. It was idle surging. It's fixed now, and I'm going to put it back together, and she's ready to go. Now I need to remember what goes where. I do know that this thing needs to go on first. It goes this way. I think I'm going to need my screwdriver alignment tool for this. Ow. Man, that's like 3 times I've hit my shin off that trailer hitch. I'm going to pick up my hardware off the floor over here because that's where we put hardware, I guess. It will bother me that I don't know what the actual problem was here, but I don't really have time necessarily to troubleshoot everything individually today. Tomorrow, I'm off to the city I'm picking up a new vehicle. For the past, I don't know, probably 8 weeks, I've been looking at Mazda CX-5s. And we're traditionally a Toyota household here, but I can't justify the amount of money to be spent on a RAV4 when you can get very similar reliability out of a Mazda for a lot less money. Now, I did look at Hondas, but in the price range that I'm in, I'd be looking at like a mid, I don't know, probably somewhere around like 2015 to 2019 CRV. And they started using turbos and CVTs. The reliability on them is kind of questionable. They're not all bad, but they're not all good either. In my opinion, the leader for reliability is always Toyota. Yeah, anyway, that's what brought me to the Mazda, because you get very similar reliability for, I don't know, probably somewhere around 15 to 30% less. And in my opinion, that's primarily because it just doesn't have the pedigree name. Now, the CX-5, there's a few different versions of it, and some of them you got to stay away from. But I found the sweet spot was 2017 to 2021. The one to go for from a reliability standpoint is the non-turbo all-wheel drive version. There are issues with them to begin with. Most of the complaints about them are regarding the infotainment system. My stereo is not going to leave me stranded on the side of the highway like a Nissan CVT. And no offense to anybody that has a Nissan with a CVT in it, it's just, that's not something that I'm interested in. And I'm sure there's tens of thousands of people out there that have Nissans with CVT transmissions and they run great. You don't really know when they're gonna blow up. It's not necessarily something that I'm interested in gambling with. The Mazda that I'm picking up, it is a 2019. It's got, oh my God, that's like 3 times now off that trailer hitch. So the Mazda that I'm picking up, it's a 2019. It's got 175,000 kilometers on it, which sounds like a lot, but nowadays that's kind of considered like normal mileage. It has the heated steering wheel, heated seats. It has a sunroof, 2 sets of tires, radar cruise control, which, like, for me, that was one of the major things that I was after, was radar cruise control. Because anytime I go to the city, I like to just get in the center lane, set my cruise control at 10 above the speed limit. That way I'm maintaining the flow of traffic, and I can just wait for my turn off. I'm not really a huge fan of driving in the city. I'm sure there's a lot of people that love it or think that it's great. Not for me. I grew up in a city environment, and I have no interest in living in or around or anywhere near a city again in my lifetime. Having said that, I've been driving the same Honda Civic to and from work for the past 14 years. I do have a truck, but I don't really drive that aside from when I have to go do truck stuff, like pick up things like this from Facebook Marketplace, or do dump runs, or haul a car. So the Mazda CX-5, it's a 4-cylinder, non-turbo. The fuel economy is slightly worse than my Civic, but it's 10 years newer, and it's got almost 100,000 kilometers less on it. So I'm looking forward to that. What I'm really looking forward to, though, is the working air conditioning. Because today, I'm not complaining, today it is 30 degrees Celsius out. It is hot. But I'm all right with it, because our winter was way too long this year. And I will take every single hot day that I can. I would just like to have some AC, so I'm not sweating on my way to work after I get out of the shower in the morning. Hey, I didn't whack my shin off that this time. Still have one more cover left to go. That's what I'm up to this weekend. Kind of a major purchase. Do not whack your shin. I research things extensively before I buy anything. And I'm not going to say that I'm a mechanic, but I would say that I'm a little mechanically inclined, so I do have an idea of what I'm looking at. Cool thing that happened this week was I was accepted to the YouTube partner program. This isn't a monetized channel yet, although it kind of is a goal of mine. It's not necessarily something that I need. It's just, it was a goal of mine to create a YouTube channel that is accepted into that program, and here I am. I'm thinking I might start to do some live streams here coming up in the next week or two. And I'm thinking that the format that I'm going to do for that is I'll probably just be hanging out in the garage out here, bring my laptop out, crack a cold Fresca, and just answer any questions that anybody has. It won't be professional advice. Just hang out in the garage and shoot the you-know-what. It's pretty much what I do on Saturday nights out here anyway. Just a regular guy hanging out in the garage. And if you find yourself at home with the kids, maybe they're in bed, and you want to tune in to an idiot on a YouTube live, a friend of mine who's also doing a YouTube channel as well, he was telling me that I should do it sooner than later because I can. So maybe he'll join. Just about buttoned up here. It's all back together now, and I'll just get her out in the yard and put her away. Just to summarize everything that I did here today, I started the day off. This thing was idle hunting. So what I did is I removed the engine cover, I removed my air filter, I removed the little top plate off the carburetor and the gasket, and from there what I did is I blasted that out with some carb clean and a little bit of compressed air through the passageways in the carb. And then I took compressed air and I just cleaned the outside of the engine, all the linkages, through all the cooling fins. There was all kinds of crap in the way. And then I started up and it was fine. I don't really know what it was. It's going to bother me, like I said earlier, but it's fixed. It runs great. And yeah, I had a bolt that was misplaced on the heat shield and I fixed that. So now I've got a summer ahead of me where I can use this lawnmower and probably save myself a couple $100 by just doing it myself. And I'm no professional, but I am brave enough to try to figure it out myself. You want to go buy a car? I have my new to me vehicle purchased here. It's the 2019 Mazda CX-5 and it's in pretty decent shape. I feel like I got a half decent deal on it and I'm hoping that I'll get at least 5 or 10 years out of it. We had the 3-hour drive this morning to get down to go look at it before we actually pulled the trigger on it. Now I'm on the way back solo and the wife's driving behind me. Driving through a little town here called John Deere. Pretty nice. They're known for one thing, and I'm about to show it to you. That is a big sausage. This is another one of those Alberta world's largest things. So this thing looks like a giant gentleman sausage. So this is the new rig. Being a used car, it's not exactly in mint shape, but for the price, couldn't go wrong. Now I've got a nice vehicle that has working air conditioning, radar cruise control, and all kinds of like the newer amenities and whatnot. The only thing that it doesn't have that I'm gonna change is it doesn't have Android Auto. I was looking on Amazon and I can get a module on there. It's like $100 and you just plug it in and it works with the factory screen and then it's good to go. I'm quite pleased with the purchase. They came with winter tires and I'm hoping that I get many years out of it. Just like I say at the end of every video, if you watch the whole thing, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. I know I gotta get out and do a couple vlogs on this thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Greatly appreciated. See you guys next week and take care.